So I'm telling you now, يعني those questions. Why I asked, could I provide you with the information directly? Could I do? Yes, I could do. But why I asked? If I say science fiction is a kind of fictional narrative in which events and setting are not familiar for us in the present time, places and time, places is strange or not familiar for us, the time is in the future, technology, the usage of. And another question I forgot to ask you, what kind of science is always employed in a science fiction, and you can't take it from the name? What kind of science you can find in a science fiction, and you're gonna find it in the name of the genre? In the name of the genre, science fiction, science fiction. Science, amazing. Science and technology. So it's a narrative or a story in which science and technology are employed so much. So can I do that, providing you with the definition directly? And I'm gonna take, by the way, about 30 seconds. I'm not gonna just take that much time. Why I am using many questions, I'm taking much time? What's my purpose? Quickly, in a few words. Yes, getting you engaged with me. Encourage. Okay, getting you engaged and keep the information in your mind. Wallahi, yani it helps so much. Try it. When you ask your students about a learning target, after you provide many questions and elicit many answers, ask them the question again, you're gonna find the answer. They will answer you. Compare the two ways. Providing the information directly without asking questions, and then ask your students about the learning target, sure, after hiding the slide. And try the other way, which is asking questions, okay? And then hide the slide, and then ask your students about that learning target. Believe me, by experience, you're gonna find the answer easily. I provided you with I relieved actually the name of the activity which I wanted to ask you about. This is الحقبنة, activation prior knowledge. I wanted to activate your prior knowledge about the genre, because sure, this is not the first time to read a science fiction. So this is some information about الحقبنة. Let's start our main targets today. Standards. What we have, as we said, we have standard number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. We'll be practicing the standards and find how we read some selections in order to practice a particular standard. How, as a teacher, you can design some questions and tasks which can help practice that standard. How, if students struggle to answer or respond to that task that you designed, what teacher should do? What kinds of questions, more questions you can ask? Here we have standard number 1, which is, if you know about it, read closely to determine what the text states explicitly and to make logical inferences from it. Cite specific textual evidence when writing or speaking to support your conclusion from the text. Okay. I want you now to practice the standard. This is simply, in other words, standard number 1 aims to develop students' ability to read a selection in order to comprehend it or to get the overall comprehension for that selection. Comprehension, gals, concentrate with me because you have a common mistake about that. Comprehension means that the answer is not mentioned explicitly, like scanning questions. For example, like there are 5 astronauts in the space station. So the question that I can or I expect that some teachers can ask in that selection, how many astronauts are there in the space station? This is not a comprehension question, let me tell you. Unfortunately, many students, many questions are not designed accurately to meet that standard, are not designed to practice or develop comprehension skills. Comprehension questions have to be questions that require answers which are not mentioned explicitly in the selection or the target selection students will read. You got my point? Tell me if you're not. You got my point? Okay? Yes. So, some scanning questions, like I told you now, cannot be comprehension questions at all. And as I told you, this is one of the mistakes many teachers do. Assigning scanning questions, believing that they practice or meet or apply standard number 1 in that way. But actually, to practice standard number 1, questions have to aim targets which are not mentioned clearly or explicitly in the selection. To make sure that your students comprehended and understood the selection or mastered the skill or applied the standard accurately, ask them. Besides to getting the answer, citing the evidence. You got my point? Cite the evidence, highlight the evidence. Always ask them, highlight the evidence while reading the selection that helped you to find the answer of that question. In other words, which part in the selection helped you getting that answer? How to do so? This is another mistake some teachers or many teachers do, is assigning students to read first. Okay, you ask your students, read the paragraph 1, 2, and 3. And after you finish, I'm going to give you a task, or concentrate while reading, and then I'm going to give you a post question, which is not effective at all. We said before that students are not engaged without tasks or without questions. Have you ever passed or done IELTS exam? Any one of you did IELTS exam? Answer me. Yes, Ms. Shaiman. When you attended the preparation for the IELTS exam, I know that British Council actually train you how to pass that kind of exam. Who can tell me, when they trained you before to answer questions after some passages, they trained you to read questions first or to read the passage first? To read questions first or to read the passage first? Amazing, great questions first. Why I read for pleasure? If I have a target from my reading, a specific standard, develop a specific skill, I have to answer a specific question. So identify my task first, then read to find the answer. Okay? So please, this is a common mistake I always find, I always tell my teachers, and I find more and more. Please, before any video watching task or reading task, assign a pre-task to get your students engaged and to find the answer for your task while watching and reading. Okay? Okay. So, for more effective reading and more perfect comprehension, assign your students pre-tasks. Let's practice now. You have 1 minute to read, and another minute to write your answer in the chat box. Go and read paragraph 1 and 2 and find the answer of the following question. Why does the narrator say that Sven's physical appearance is likely to surprise people? While reading, cite evidence for your answer. By the way, if you have the story in your device, you can highlight and send me privately in my WhatsApp. If you have the printed story as a sheet or as a paper, you can highlight and send me a shot privately in my WhatsApp. I want you to read paragraph 1 and 2 and find the answer of that question. Why does the narrator say that Sven's physical appearance is likely to surprise people, and cite evidence from the text to support your answer. You have 1 minute and 1 minute to write. Okay, thank you, Miss Huda, the first participant with me. Okay, amazing, amazing. Yes, it's a correct answer. Can you answer the question in the chat box, please? He was amazing. Miss Sanya, thank you. Miss Bushra, amazing. All your responses are correct. Miss Shireen, thank you so much. Yes, all your answers are correct. Who else? Okay, I'm reading your responses actually. He was actually a wiry little flu. Amazing. Thank you so much. Amazing. So